Welcome back to Midday. We are joined by, of course, Farron Dufault, our cosmetics manager and expert from London Drugs that we love having on the show. Thanks, Farron, for coming on again today.
Hey, thanks for having me back.
Absolutely, but you brought along a special guest with you today. This is Ashley Camp. She is a Vichy representative, and of course, today we're talking about some Vichy products. So thanks for joining us, Ashley. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thanks so much for having us.
Absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about what you've brought here. We're talking about, of course, this is the time of year. Well, I think we should probably be wearing sunscreen all year round, but this is the time of year when, you know, the weather's starting to get a little bit better and people are really thinking about applying sunscreen. So you've brought us some options.
Yeah, so we actually brought our newest launch, which is Vichy's first mineral-based sunscreen that is also tinted.
Oh,
and then
tinted.
we've also brought our sports sunscreen, which is great for, you know, regular application throughout the summer or on vacation all year, but it also can be applied on wet skin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. And Farron, I know that you would say that this is important to be thinking about that sunscreen. Are these good with when you're putting makeup on or anything like that? I mean, what is your thought on that?
Absolutely. The new mineral sunscreen is a perfect base to put makeup on over top. It's got a nice thin texture to it. It just kind of melts and blends right into the skin. It's not going to feel heavy or greasy, which everybody kind of wants when you're putting on sunscreen. They don't want that heavy or greasy feeling. But you're still getting your fabulous protection.
Right. And Ashley, I know that we're talking mineral sunscreen from Vichy. What's the difference between this and just your regular sunscreen? I mean, when you say mineral, what do you mean?
Yeah, so there's a bunch of different filters on the Canadian market in terms of what are in your sunscreens. So when we talk about mineral, we're talking about different filters than, say, your like organic or chemical filters.
Okay.
And so when you really start to, you know, break down the types of filters that are in your sunscreens, you really need to start looking at, you know, what is the UVB protection, but also what is the UVA protection, both short and long UVA rays.
Okay.
So for example, with mineral sunscreen, typically you're experiencing really strong UVB protection with pretty decent UVA protection, whereas chemical sunscreens or organic sunscreens have stronger UVA protection.
Right.
The one way to really, you know, differentiate if you're looking for a good sunscreen, if it has enough protection for you, is to look for the circle around the UVA logo.
Oh, that's a good tip.
Yeah, so this is actually a Health Canada certification.
Okay.
What that means is it's at least 1/3 of the product is UVA protection.
Okay.
So that's the very, very minimum that you want to be looking for in any sunscreen on the market. Vichy actually, our standard is 2/3 of UVA protection, which, you know,
that's pretty good.
Like you said, a lot of people don't really think about sunscreen unless it's the summer. But which is, I mean, we're in the Okanagan, the sun shines beautiful in the summer, everyone loves to enjoy it. But what a lot of people don't know is that UVA is actually present all year round, and UVB really is only present in the summer.
Right.
And when we really break it down, UVA represents 95% of rays, and UVB represents 5%.
Oh, wow.
So UVA is actually quite, you know, substantial impact on our skin that people don't really think about all year.
So this is one you could use all year round.
Totally.
Then. Okay.
Yeah.
And London Drugs obviously carrying this, Farron.
Of course.
Vichy is a well-known product. I mean, I think we've all heard of Vichy before. Is it popular among customers in your store?
Yes. Absolutely. Vichy is one of the top-selling sunscreen brands that I do carry within London Drugs. They have phenomenal products, phenomenal filters, and phenomenal protection.
I like it too because I think Vichy products are good in the sense that, like you said, you don't feel greasy, but you know what, you're worried you're putting sunscreen on your skin and you're like, oh, I'm gonna break out and then I'm gonna put all this makeup on over top. So this is a good sort of happy medium and really nice on the skin. I know you ladies wanna do a fun little demonstration.
Yes.
So yeah, take us through what you wanna do here. Should we move this out of the way?
Let's do that.
Okay.
So we wanted to do a little science experiment with you guys so that you can kind of understand, you know, how much impact the UVA rays actually have on your skin.
Okay.
So what these are, they're actually UV beads. Think of them as cells in your skin. What we're going to do is we're going to apply UV light to them, and you can actually see what happens to your cells. So we'll just let that take in some of the radiation.
And so while she's doing this, basically this is how the UVAs work in our skin, and it's damaging your collagen, your elastin.
causing potentially cancers, you know, uneven skin texture, things like that.
It's not just about, you know, making your skin look aged, but it's also those health factors too. Like you mentioned, cancer, skin cancer is huge, as we know.
Yes, exactly. And UVB rays really only represent your burning and skin cancer, whereas UVA rays, which are the ones that are present all year, represent your aging, your allergies, as well as skin cancer.
Wow.
So really, really significant in terms of what they do to our skin.
Okay, so once you've done that, can we kind of tilt it so everybody can see? I just don't want them to fall out here.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Okay, so these were all kind of white or clear.
Yeah.
And now look at them. They're definitely all different colors.
Yeah.
So that was as a result of what you just did with the light, right?
Yeah, so what this is mimicking is essentially UVA damage in the skull or in the cells, or oxidative stress as well, which, you know, is like to Farron's point, is really, you know, tough on your skin for aging, cancers, burning, things like that. Now I want to show you what it's like if we actually applied a sunscreen.
Okay, let's do that. I like that.
So big thing is obviously using enough sunscreen. So our kind of rule of thumb is 3 tablespoons for the body, 1 tablespoon for the face.
I had no idea there was a measurement.
Yes, so that's why one of these bottles really should not last you a year. It really should only last you a vacation or a couple of months.
Okay.
If you're using the correct amount. Obviously this is a little excessive, but we just want to use it for demonstrative
do it for the demo, yeah, of course.
So we're just putting the lid on.
And what's so it's 60, SPF 60?
Yeah, so the thing with the SPF as well is SPF is really only relevant to UVB.
Okay.
It has nothing to do with UVA.
There's always a little controversy out there about if you get 60, is that better or even any different than getting 30 or 40, right?
Yeah, the difference between, like, say, an SPF 30, you're going to get 97% protection from UV rays, whereas a 50 plus to a 60, you're going to get 98.9% protection.
So there is a difference.
There's a little bit of a difference. Definitely, I wouldn't recommend anything lower than a 30, but your 30 to 60 SPF is optimal.
Yeah.
I have to use 60 because, well, I burn very easily, but okay.
So we'll turn it over, but you can see that the sunscreen actually protected any of the UVA rays from getting into the beads or your cells.
Fantastic.
So that's why, you know, it's even if you are wearing a 30 or even something lower, even though we prefer a 30 at least, it is better to wear something than nothing at all.
Than nothing at all. Yeah. Good tips. Thanks, ladies.
Thanks
that was
so
fun, and thanks for the demo. That really gives you a bit of a visual as to what's happening when you're not wearing sunscreen and what happens when you do. For more information, of course, you can contact London Drugs or go visit them. They sell these products from Vichy, and think about it as we're heading into those warmer months. We're back in 2 minutes here on Midday. Stay with us.